Hey guys, welcome back to Tidy with Kayla. Today I'm doing a quick pickup of my 11-year-old son's room. I recently did an extreme clean and organize of his room, and I posted a video a few weeks back. A lot of you suggested adding bins and labels to his closet, so I'll be doing that in today's video. I'm also tackling our game closet in today's video, which is a total disaster. I'll be taking everything out, going through it, putting some in bins, and adding labels. I'm working my way through the house, cleaning, decluttering, and organizing. I'll be filming more videos along the way, so make sure to subscribe if you are new for some motivation. My son's at school while I'm working on his room today, and I'm starting by making his bed. It's such a quick thing, but it already makes the room feel so much better. I got a few comments on his extreme bedroom clean video and how cleaning his room should be his job, and you are totally right. I posted that video over a month ago, and it's been his responsibility to clean his room, keep it picked up every day. I'm not the best about making sure he makes his bed, but he still does his own laundry, puts it away, and tidies up at the end of each day. I'm just helping him a little today because I want everything nice and clean before I start organizing his closet. He just has a few things that needs tidied up. I cannot grab that for some reason, but then we will get started on his closet. His nightstand is for sure what just gets piled up the most, and I think he just sets things on it and then just doesn't put it away after. We bought him a piano for his birthday, but it didn't come with the stand for it. It was on sale for a really good price, so that's why we bought it, but I'm going to have to look for a stand because it takes up his whole desk. I'm just picking up a little bit of his art supplies. I just love seeing his drawings. They're always so cool. He just keeps these in a folder inside his desk, but he has so many drawings that he eventually is going to need something else. His cords are always a disaster. I actually want to buy him a cord organizer box. I have one in my office and it hides all the wires and the extension cord. It's really cool, so I just need to purchase it for his room. I feel like this just took me far too long to get all of these cords untangled. If anyone has I would say preteen kid, those Posca markers are so cool. They're like a mix between markers and paint. My son uses them all the time. He likes these markers a lot too. I can't remember what the name is, but I have an Amazon storefront and I have his room in its own category, so I'll link that down in my description box. He also got this it's silent basketball. I couldn't remember what it was called, but you can play with it in the house. He loves it. It's very cool. And clearly I need to work on my shooting skills. Now I'm ready to work on his closet shelves. It doesn't look the most organized, and it's going to get to the point where it was from my extreme clean video. So I am going to try to make this a little easier for him to keep up with. I bought clear bins at Target to organize his things in his closet. I also bought self-adhesive index card pockets to put my labels in. I used my Cricut machine to make the labels. I just used cardstock and I had the Cricut draw the labels onto it. What I love about these is if he decides that he wants to get rid of something that he's not into anymore, I can just take that cardstock out and write something new on it. I've used vinyl to label bins before, but then a lot of times I end up switching it out with something else and I have to peel off the vinyl, which always takes a while. I'm also spraying rubbing alcohol on the bins. It just helps that adhesive to stick better. Now I'm ready to organize everything into the bins, which is always my favorite part. My son is in 5th grade, and when he was in 3rd grade, he got into origami and made some pretty cool things. He doesn't do this as much as he used to, but every once in a while, he'll still make some origami. So I am going to put that in the first bin. I had to remove the self-adhesive and put it on the side of the bin. Thankfully, it wasn't like crazy sticky where I couldn't remove it, but I had to do that because it just wasn't going to fit on the shelf the way I imagined. My son's been into Harry Potter for a very long time, so he has a few random things with that. And he also has a couple wands from Great With Lodge. They have this Magic Quest thing that he did 2 years in a row, so I just threw that in with the Harry Potter stuff. His new thing that he is into is Beyblades, which is really fun. He has a couple friends from school that are into it also. He's been into loom bracelets since 2nd or 3rd grade, and just recently with a couple of neighbor kids, he's been selling them to the neighbors, which has been fun for them. He has so many different interests, which I just absolutely love about him. The last 2 categories are things that he is no longer interested in. I tried to talk him out of keeping the magic show stuff. This was something, I'm trying to think what grade, 3rd grade. So he had a lot of interest that started in 3rd grade, and he even did a magic show with a friend for the talent show at our school, which was really cool. He can keep it for now, but I feel like if he doesn't use it within the next few months, I will probably see if he can donate it. I found this pack of clear card case containers on Amazon. It comes with 24, and I am going to use this to organize some of his things and also for the game boards later in this video. The last one is Pokemon. This started around 1st and 2nd grade. He's no longer interested in Pokemon, but he spent a lot of time collecting the cards, and he was just so into it for so long. I can see why he doesn't want to get rid of them. I am going through these though and organizing some of the cards. I had my husband come in and help me go through some of the cards that he knew he wouldn't care about. We got rid of those, and then I'm keeping the rest in a card box and these cases. He has a Pokemon game, and these cards go to that. I'm just putting those in the clear cases. Those cards and protective sheets are ones that we're getting rid of. I'm not sure if I want to toss it or donate it, but the rest of that is getting tossed. This is way more organized, and I can just keep it in that container for him. He has a few games in his closet, and I am going to move it down to our game closet. Now I'm ready to add everything to his shelf. I love this built-in shelf in his closet. It is so nice for storage in his room. Here's how it looks. It's been this way for about a week already. It's just taken me a while to get my voiceover done and get the video posted. And wow, it's made a huge difference. It's just so easy for him to pick up. I love that the bins are clear and have labels. I'm going to empty his trash, then vacuum, and his room will be done, and we can move on to the game boards. Here's the state of our game board closet. It is just a disaster, like I said at the beginning of the video. Oh, goodness. Whenever I am decluttering and organizing, the first thing I do with the space is just remove everything and put it in one big pile. This closet is in our basement, and it is just the perfect closet for games. We have accumulated so many since my husband and I have been together for the past almost 13 years. Wow, is all I have to say right now. I just had no idea we had this many games. Every time with decluttering, at this point, I'm questioning my life choices. It will get worse before it gets better, but I do know that it's going to be so worth it in the end. With this step in the decluttering process, I like to group things by categories. It makes it a lot more manageable. In that pile, I am grouping card games. Next, I'm making a pile of my husband's games. He has Risk, Monopoly, I can't tell what else. It's a lot of Star Wars games that he never plays any of these, but he wants to keep them. For my next piles, it looks a little chaotic, but I'm keeping games that I want to keep. I have a pile of games I want to donate, and I also bought some containers. It comes in a 10-pack that I'm going to be putting board games in, so I'm putting those in piles. Next, I'm going through this bin of just random board game pieces and cards. I don't know why we have so many Uno games. There's 4 games here, and I end up finding more later. I dumped the rest out, and look at all those random pieces. It is just the worst. My 3-year-old and I think my 7-year-old, a lot of times they like to get into the games, and we find pieces everywhere and then just toss it in a bin. So now it's going to be a little more organized. These are the games that I'm going to donate. I told my husband, and he said he wanted to try to sell some of them. I just make that his job. I used to sell things on Facebook Marketplace, and it just drove me crazy where I'd rather just donate. But he likes to do it, so I'm putting it in a bin for him to do later. Here's a pile of the games that I'm keeping. These are the 10 games I picked out to put into those clear containers, and I'll show that in a minute. Here's puzzles and my husband's games. This is a pile that I'm going to be tossing. Some of it is empty board games. Other things, it just is missing pieces. So I'm just tossing all that. The random pieces in that bin go to these games, so I'm putting all those away first. I want to clean the closet out before I put some games back in there. I'm just using an all-purpose cleaner to wipe down the shelves first. I'm also using my wet dry vacuum to clean the floor. This is one of my favorite cleaning purchases I've ever made. I'm putting my husband's games at the top. It's not very accessible, so that's a good place to put it. The next shelf, I'm putting some board games that we play more regularly. The bottom 2 shelves, I'm putting some card games, and on the floor, I'm putting 2 games that are kind of like Marble Run. Now I'm ready to add my board games to the clear containers that I bought. I chose games that we play with our kids often, and the boxes are also falling apart on some of these. The inside of them are really unorganized, so I think it'll be perfect. I bought the organizers off Amazon. I found the idea from Life with Lainey's Instagram account. I will make sure to link her Instagram in my description box. She has the coolest account. I'm going to use my Cricut to cut out vinyl labels for these. I'm adding it on with transfer tape, and once again, I'll link the video of me showing how to make these labels in my description box. Now I'm ready to add the game boards and pieces into the organizers. It just looks so nice. These containers are pretty narrow, so you might have trouble with some games fitting, so you might want to test that out before you add labels. I was worried the trains weren't going to fit, but I did get it to work. I'm going to use the card container that I bought, so that will really help this stay organized. There was a lot of cards, so I ended up having to use 2. For these little square pieces, I used a rubber band, which worked really well. A couple years ago, I bought mesh zip bags to organize my games. This works really well too, and I kept a few games in mesh bags. You might be able to see it at the end, but I really like these clear containers, so I'm switching a couple of them to these. Battleship did not fit. It was just a little too big, so I'll show you what I end up doing with those. I also have little mesh zip bags, and those were perfect for those little houses for Monopoly. Look how amazing this is looking. I am so excited about it. I took the vinyl off of these so I can use it for something else. I had a couple other card games that the boxes were not in great shape. This one I put in a zip bag because it just barely didn't fit in the clear container, and I didn't want to use 2 for it. But for 5 crowns, I used 2. I'm not labeling the card cases because you can see it easily through the clear container. The game containers that I used that were narrow, they have another option with wider containers, but these are ones that I found, I think, from Michael's a few years back, so there are some options for those bigger game pieces. I'm going to be putting chess and Battleship in these. I'm getting so close to being done. I just had a few other things that needed organized. This Pop the Pig box was just trashed, but the Pop the Pig was too big for anything, so I'm putting the pieces in a mesh bag and I'll just set them both in the closet. Here's one of the other Uno games that we have, Uno Attack, but I'm keeping this bin for card games. The Uno Attack box was in really bad shape, so I'm tossing that also. Uno Attack was a little too big to fit in there, so I'm just going to put all the card games together in this bin. The Uno cards have a ton of cards, so I'm going to use rubber bands for a lot of these. Also, I need to ask my son which ones he wants to get rid of. These boxes also were falling apart and the cards were just everywhere, so hopefully the rubber bands in the bin will keep it more organized. This is looking so nice. I definitely recommend the clear card cases. However, if it has a lot of cards, then you'll have to use 2. Our Jenga was falling apart and I would find random Jenga pieces all over the place, so the mesh bag will work a lot easier. Even though it is nice to use the box to stack it, I think this will work out for us. I put all our dice in a Ziploc bag and I put a few other things in that little basket. I'm ready to add these to the closet. You can see those 10 game boards. It takes up way less space in the containers. Here's a before and after of the game board closet. It's going to be so much easier to stay on top of this now that it's organized. That's it for today's organizing session. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I tackled my son's closet and all the game boards. It feels so good to have everything neat and easy to find. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more organizing and home projects. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.